This is very popular with many traders because, it's part of their awareness journey in terms of understanding their trader temperament. I call it trader temperament. I don't call it personality. There's too much misunderstanding and misperception about your personality. People tend to use it as a black label or as a jail sentence. I'm this personality. I'm that type of trader, and therefore I'm limited by X, Y, and Z, versus this is my home base. This is just, part of my makeup. And I can, develop a strategy to build on the strengths and, improve on the weaknesses. That's where you need to be. You need to be focusing on the behavioral strategies that can take you from A to B. The problem is most people stay stuck in the mud once they identify what their trader personality or temperament is, and they don't do anything with it. And it drives me crazy as a coach because, that's the whole point of coaching and the whole point about the change game, that you engage in a strategy for change. Now, the way to do that is you need to know where your starting point is first. And so one of the most famous traders, one of the most famous psychological assessment tools is something called Myers-Briggs. That's a whole session for the future. Look it up if you don't know about it. Myers-Briggs. It's a well-known psychological personality assessment tool. Here's a screenshot just showing you how it's divided into quadrants based on your energy, information, and decisions and organization, processing. And ultimately, the outcome of an interview that I had with Dr. Van Tharp in terms of what he felt made a successful trader, in terms of the many thousands of traders that he has worked with, he came up with these attributes, which are lettered N, T, J. N means that they are intuitive traders. They tend to be more focused on the big picture. T means that they are thinkers rather than feelers, so they can be quite strategic. And J, judges versus perceivers, which means they perceivers tend to get caught up in what they're doing, lost in the moment, so to speak. So that's the daydreaming type. I'm one of those. As a result, they are much more likely to be compulsive gamblers. I disagree with that. There are many, that's just his anecdotal experience of some traders he's worked with, but it's not a one size fits all. What is true is that judges tend to be more organized, and I definitely agree with that. I'm not the most organized person, which is why I'm not a judger, I'm a perceiver. But you need to realize that there are pros and cons for all personality traits and trader temperaments. And this is just saying that the more organized you are, the better discipline and follow through you will likely demonstrate. Aside from temperaments, you do need to know that people also that demonstrate skills, not personality traits or trading temperaments, but skills that can be learned, will be successful traders. So those skills, separate from temperament and psychology traits, is being committed, willing to work on themselves, good at math, as was just suggested a moment ago, basic statistics, simple probabilities, and also strategy games. I'll just give you an example on the strategy side and probabilities. I know a lot of traders that are chess players, poker players, or they're just big into computer games. I'm not telling you to go to the arcade and go crazy or go to a casino, but I'm just saying if you really study how the strategy side of competitive games, including sports, but particularly the strategy and probability driven games, you will open up a whole new side of the trading journey, because you'll be wiring your mind in a different way through the practice of doing that work. There's mental work that improves your ability to think in a more probabilistic and statistical way, either in markets or in some of these examples that I've mentioned. Okay, now the breakout session that I'm going to invite you all to get into is based on the nature side of beliefs and values. Sorry, the nurture side of beliefs and values. So what are your beliefs and values? Remember I said trading, risk, and money. But if you dive into the behavioral modeling work that I've been trained in, NLP, behavioral modeling work based on NLP, at the heart of NLP is this model developed by one of the co-founders of NLP, Robert Dilts, which is part of the same model that Dr. Van Tharp uses. NLP is part of the same model that Dr. Van Tharp uses, is this pyramid of hierarchy of beliefs and values. At the very top level are external beliefs to do with things that are outside of you, environmental influences, behavioral beliefs and values, capability, value, identity, and spiritual. So just to give you an anecdotal example, external markets tend to trend, behavioral, I trade trending markets, capability, I can make 20% per year, value, it's important to manage risk, identity, I am a successful trader, that's the I am statement, and then spiritual, I can live in a graceful state from being the best I can be based on whatever greater good belief system you or I might have. Now, here's the exercise which I'm going to ask you all to do. I've got 10 minutes left in this session, but I can extend, and I only do extend by 10 minutes or so because I think any more is unnecessary. So let's do 10 minutes breakout session, 5 minutes each ways. You're going to be in trading pairs, and the idea is to do a belief paradigm exercise. Ask yourself, you've got to start with a disempowering belief. Step number one, start with a disempowering belief and ask yourself, is this a chosen belief or did someone give it to me? You need to add an author to it. Is it yours or is it someone else's? If it's not yours, then ask who gave it to me. So just very simply, what is the disempowering belief and whose is it? That's number one. Number two, what happens when I have that belief? Number three, who would I be without this belief? Number four, is this belief useful? If not, then can you usually, then you can, replace it or reframe it with a more useful belief. Number four is the game changer, because that's the change process. The transformation process is where you then choose what that useful belief is, and then ultimately number six, just give an insight, share with me after the breakout session in terms of what we've learned from this analysis, what we call belief paradigm analysis.